Best greetings of the time to all of you. I am Mr. Shashikant B. Gosavi, Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, Walchand Institute of Technology, Solapur. Today I am presenting online educational resource on Indian Contracts Act. The learning outcomes of today's online educational resource is at the end of this session, the students will be able to explain rationale of Indian Contract Act, explain sections of Indian Contract Act and explain qualification criteria for Indian Contract Act. You can see a wonderful friendly gesture between two human beings. But on the top you can also see a paper on which some literature is written and there is a signature. This probably looks like some contract document. To make sure that this particular term contract gets appropriate meaning in Indian context, the Indian Contract Act came into influence in 1872. This is relating to contracts in India, regulating Indian Contract Act law applicable to all states of India as well as union territories. It determines the circumstances in which promises made by the parties to a contract shall be legally binding. Section 2H of this particular Contract Act is talking about contract agreement which is enforceable by law. Actually, contract is defined as an agreement enforceable by law. So, every contract by default is an agreement. But it doesn't mean every time that every agreement is a contract. Please note this particular point. There are several parts of Indian Contract Act. Primarily, we can divide it in two parts. The first part is more relevant to the civil engineering contracts, which deals with general principles of law of contract, which covers section 1 to 75. There are in all 266 sections flowing into 11 chapters. However, part 2 covers indirect connection between the contracts with special emphasis on contract of indemnity and guarantee, contract of bailment and pledge, contract of agency, and so on. It is very common to see that people make offers, others do accept it. You must have seen that a person gives several offers, maybe in the form of goods, maybe in the form of services, and so on. So, when one person signifies to another his willingness to do or to abstain from doing anything with a view to obtaining the assent of that other person to such act or abstinence, he is said to make a proposal or he is said to give an offer. Acceptance is a terminology which is defined in section 2b. When a person signifies his assent to the proposal, it is said to be accepted. So, we are already having lot of conceptions about promise. It is a valuable word in human beings. You may have a lot of perceptions about the meaning of the promise in the form of hope, trust, success, and so many things which will be informing some commitments and faith and so many values. But in Indian Contracts Act, what we can see is the meaning of promise is, it is a proposal when accepted becomes a promise. An offer, when accepted, it becomes a promise. The transaction between the proposer and the acceptor is over, then only a promise is formed. When an offer is accepted, it becomes a promise, and therefore there are two persons involved. One is promiser and the other one is promisee. You can easily see a promiser is a person offering or making a proposal, while a promisee is a person accepting the proposal. In each offer and acceptance or promise, there should be some consideration. When at the desire of the promiser, the promisee or any other person has done or abstained from doing, or does or abstains from doing, or promises to do or do abstain from doing something, then we say that this is the consideration. Such act of abstinence or promise is called a consideration for the promise. Again, you can see there are two terms, the agreement versus contract, and many a times these are woven together. People try and mean it one and the same. As I already quoted, every contract requires agreement to be there, but it doesn't mean that every agreement is converted into the contract. Why? There are certain points relevant to that. You can see, agreement is defined as every promise and set of promises forming the consideration for each other, and therefore we can easily say that agreement is equal to promise plus considerations. An agreement enforceable by law is a promise, while reciprocal promises can also be there. Promises which form the consideration and part of the consideration for each other. Those are reciprocal promises. There is something which is called as the void agreement. Agreement not enforceable by law, that is called as void agreement. If it is enforceable by law, at the option of one or other of the parties thereto, and it is not enforceable by law at the option of the other or others, it is voidable contract. A void contract is a contract when it ceases to be enforceable by law. I hope you understand my point. Please reflect onto this particular reflection spot. The Indian Contract Act signifies every person is competent to contract provided he is a minor, that is the first option, or what else is there? Disqualified from contracting by any other law, or he or she does not have sound mind. The fourth option is none of these. Which one can you opt for? I am sure you can easily say that none of these are comfortably called as void contracts. If a person is minor, or if a person is disqualified, or he or she does not have sound mind, they are not allowed to go into the contract. I have used Indian Contracts Act 1872 documentation for preparing this particular online educational resource. In addition to that, I have also used the information and some of the sketches for understanding the contents of lawful consideration and Indian Contract Act. So these are the references which I have used while preparing this particular online educational resource on Indian Contract Act 1872. Thank you very much for having patient hearing to the presentation that I have given today. Wish you all the best.